This blog post highlights the capabilities of React Server components in Next.js, focusing on dynamic data fetching, error management, and loading state handling. It illustrates how to effectively perform server-side data fetching, manage errors, and render dynamic UIs using Next.js components. This blog post explores the dynamic data fetching capabilities of React Server Components (RSC) in Next.js, contrasting it with static site generation (SSG). It emphasizes the importance of managing error and loading states in server-side rendering (SSR) to enhance user experience. The project addresses key questions regarding the implementation of dynamic data fetching with RSC, effective error handling in server components, and the rendering of loading states during data retrieval. The text shows a command to install packages using pnpm, a fast and efficient package manager for JavaScript. The command pnpme is a shorthand version of pnpm install, which is used to add dependencies to a project. This blog post section instructs users to start their development server using the command pnpm run dev. It then guides them on how to test error handling by suggesting they replace the good posts URL constant with an invalid bad posts URL. This change will simulate a fetch error, allowing users to see how the application manages and displays errors effectively. The text provides a brief code snippet illustrating the main entry point for rendering a React component called PostsCount. It is encapsulated within a functional component named home, which returns a JSX structure containing a div with the PostsCount component inside it. This blog post snippet presents a TypeScript component called PostsCount that fetches data about posts from a server and displays the total number of posts. The main function, fetchPosts, pauses for 2 seconds to simulate a loading state, then makes a fetch request to retrieve posts from a specified URL. If the request is unsuccessful, it throws an error. Upon successfully fetching the posts, it returns the count of posts. The PostsCount component calls fetchPosts to get the post count and renders it within a simple JSX structure, displaying the number of posts in a paragraph beneath a header. The text describes a TypeScript component named loading, which is part of a Next.js application. This component is rendered while another component, PostsCount, is still in the loading state. When rendered, the loading component simply displays a paragraph with the text loading. The provided TypeScript code defines a functional component called error used in a Next.js application. This component is designed to display an error message when an exception occurs, specifically in relation to the PostsCount function. Key elements of the error component include a header that states something went wrong, a paragraph that displays the error message passed to the component, a button labeled try again that, when clicked, triggers a reset function to attempt the operation again. Overall, the code offers a user-friendly way to handle and present errors in a Next.js app. The image illustrates the user interface displaying a loading state while the PostsCount is fetching data. The image depicts the user interface after the PostsCount component has successfully fetched and displayed dynamic data. The blog post describes an error that occurs in the user interface, UI, after a function called PostsCount throws an exception. An accompanying image illustrates the resulting state of the UI, emphasizing the impact of the error on user experience. The text highlights how the fetch results in a web application are rendered dynamically on the server-side rendering, or SSR, and sent to the browser for display. This process can be observed by using the View Source feature in the web browser. The accompanying image illustrates SSR in action. The text includes 2 links to YouTube videos related to Next.js, a popular web development framework. The first video, titled Mastering Server versus Client Components in Next.js, likely covers the distinctions and use cases between server and client components in the framework. The second video, titled RSC versus RCC, Data Fetching Showdown with Code Examples, seems to focus on comparing 2 data fetching methodologies, possibly with practical code examples. Additionally, there are script tags included for highlighting code in the blog post, indicating that the content may include programming examples or snippets.